Things about trading Forex is that you don't actually know exactly which trade is going to be a crazy winner or just another loss.
What's up, everybody? We are currently live.
We'll take away the weekly.
Trace back down to orthodox. That price is going to be bullish.
Point sort of chasing the market. I was more than happy to stay flat.
Hello everyone.
What the kangaroo tell?
Always recommend trading on the 5 minute.
Some of these exotic pairs and pretty steady uptrend, making these higher highs and higher.
Mostly trend following.
The stimulus in a certain way.
Evening. Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody back again. Hope you are all well. Apologies for not being on for a little while. I had, unfortunately, a kidney infection, so it's going to kind of put me out of action for a little while. It's funny, last week, or last Wednesday, last Tuesday, I was starting to feel a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I feel good. Thinking it was, being drained and working all really hard for months and months on end. And so I thought I needed a break. And then obviously went up to the doctor and turns out it was a little bit more than just feeling drained. So anyway, I'm back now. The antibiotics are kicking in and I feel good. So I'm just back at the charts now. So I hope everybody's well and trading well and trading safe. How's everybody's trading going? Have you been getting some pips? Have you been making money? And most importantly, have you been staying disciplined and sticking to your plan? I hope everybody has been. So let's talk a bit about the markets today. I'm not going to do a webinar. I'll do some market analysis because there's a few setups that I kind of like that I want to go through. And one that I am already in, this CAD Swiss, I'll go through that as well. Denise, how are you? Dawn, Lam, how you doing, mate? Fully recovered? Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm about 90% there. So thanks for you. I appreciate that. Okay, SPX. Now, the US Open has caused a decent sharp fall in this SPX. It was actually looking okay yesterday. At the end of the day yesterday, we got a tag off this trend line, this valid trend line, because we had one touch here, we had two touches here, which means we are tentative, and we had a third touch here. So that means this trend line is now valid. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, that's right. So third touch here is valid. Now, we did have a decent day yesterday, so I thought potentially we were on our way to the upside, decent outside bullish engulfing and moving on. However, on US Open, we have come down a bit now. Now, whether I trust this or not, we'll have to wait and see. We have seen a lot of this type of price action on US Open recently, but we are going with that trend. Apart from the daily, the trend is the downside on the SPX. So whether this be a slight fake, kind of bull trap, and now we're moving down, it does look like a V reversal if it does close this way. So in terms of risk sentiment, you've got to say, well, we need to wait for confirmation. This price action isn't nice, but we're potentially getting our V reversal for possible trend continuation to the downside, which means this bullish bar yesterday was simply just a reaction off that trend line. So depending on how the SPX closes, if we do get a confirmation and you do get a close underneath this area, you could see that market continue to fall and that risk off nature continue. So buying the yen, buying the Swiss, buying the US dollar makes sense against those commodity currencies. But I would just like to wait for that confirmation for it to happen. Now, again, I just, with what's happened recently, I don't know if I massively trust this big fall. And I would not be surprised if we come back up and, completely negate that fall. However, we have to wait and see. So In terms of the SPX, waiting for that confirmation of a break below this trend line possibly, but certainly a break below and a breaking close below this little support area would indicate to me that the risk off nature probably may continue. Now, I always, as a taking trading away for a second, as an investment point of view, buying the SPX on a dip is something that I always tend to do. You know, if I see the SPX come down and have a decent move to the downside, you know, there's nothing wrong with putting a little bit of investment in there and buying the SPX on dips. So in terms of take away the trading for a little second, but as an investment kind of strategy, buying the SPX on dips, putting a little bit of money into it every time you see a nice corrective or a nice fall, if indeed it does, then it's a good little investment opportunity that you'll thank yourself for in the long run. But in terms of intraday, wait for that confirmation. Okay, dollar. Now, dollar, I was looking at this yesterday, and I just had a sneaky suspicion that this would rise. You know, we had decent support off here, and now we've pushed through. I'd like to see a close above this area for the US dollar. And, you know, if the stock market does decide to fall, you'd probably expect that to continue. So if we see a breaking close above this area, you might be expecting dollar strength. Now, the daily, obviously this daily, it's a little bit of a different perspective on that dollar because we've come down and what looked to be still like a corrective from that move is turning into a possible change of trend. If we put a simple Fibonacci on it, from this area to that support area, we can get a close here above the 50 would be a possible bullish sign. Obviously, a close above the 61.8 is your line in the sand. Now, my personal buy is if this does close like this is we could get a big structure here, a possible big cup with handle structure that may indicate that the dollar wants to rise in pressure towards that last quarter of the year. If that actually sets up or not, we'll have to wait and see. But it certainly looks quite bullish right now. If you got a setup in the dollar, if it does close above this area, again, breaking close, we're waiting for that candle closure, then buying that dollar potentially would make sense to me. Because, again, you just look at this price action. If you consider that your ABC, potential corrective from this move, you'd want this to fall, certainly break below B wave. And it's not done that. It's pushed up. So, yeah, dollar longs on that close for me makes sense. Okay, setups today. So I want to show you this trade that I'm in firstly, which I think has come off a little bit, CAD Swiss, yeah. So this is a good lesson. I think it's been another kind of, even though I've not hit TP or stop loss, that doesn't really matter right now because if this trade or this one trade hits TP or stop loss, it's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, right? It's irrelevant in your hopefully years of trading career with one trade. However, I took this breakout on this section here, this push through, big V reversal, increasing pressure into that area, squeeze in, I took that breakout there. You think the dollar is going to be bullish until the FOMC next Wednesday? Yeah, you could be right, Denise. Yeah, it certainly looks bullish. Certainly if it closes above. I mean, as I said, for me as a technical trader, purely a technical trader, it does look quite bullish at the moment as long as that daily closes quite nicely and as long as that 4 hour does close. You know, and just you could get, just going back to this dollar because I think it's interesting before I go into CAD Swiss, you could get some price acceptance above this area because we have moved, you know, we've had 16 hours of bullish price action in that dollar. So, you know, we've got the 20 down here. If we do get some price acceptance above this level and get that 20 period curling up, then yeah, that would be a bit more of a better indication that that dollar wants to rise. So we've had a decent move now. Could this continue? Yes, of course it can. But it'll be interesting to see what the market makes of being above this price out level, of being above this resistance zone. So a close above there would yeah, I would agree with you, Denise. I'm honestly, I would think you get something like this, which would indicate dollar pressure. Anyway, I'll go into this CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss, as I said, I took this breakout here. Now, bear in mind, this is a 4 hour chart. So if we look at this price action in terms of the emotions of being in a trade, right? So this came back down. As soon as I got tagged in, came back down, but my stop is all the way down here. So this is still okay at the moment. Is it annoying? Is it frustrating that basically when I entered that trade, it completely moved in the wrong direction straight away, right? So again, you think about that emotional aspect being involved. Oh God, I've just been triggered in. Is this going to be a fake? We end up creating a higher basing structure here, which is good. Pushed on, retested that area, and we were kind of pushing on. Now, at this point in time, I thought this trade was good. I thought, okay, we push on now. I kind of like this. Failed in momentum, as sometimes we do, certainly in this market, and come down thinking, oh no, it's going to hit my stop, right? So came down here, didn't hit my stop. My stop's here for a reason. Pushed on, again, coming down. I think this is going to hit my stop. Didn't do it. Pushed up. Again, came down and didn't hit my stop. Pushed up, gave us our V reversal, and I'm thinking, okay, at this point in time, this now definitely looks good, and it's going to push on. Lost some momentum here, and we fell back down. I honestly thought that this trade was going to hit my stop loss multiple times, but I didn't touch it. I remember through my back testing that I make money and I have my edge through keeping my stop loss and not tinkering with my trades. So look how close we were to our stop loss there. So also the importance of maybe giving your trade a little bit of room to move. So the premise of my stop loss was that if my stop gets hit, the whole ethos of that trade is over, right? The trade is wrong, but it never got hit there. So, and I know in myself, how many times I would have taken that out, certainly in my first few years of trading, is probably a lot of times, right? And I'm sure you guys are the same, where you're taking it out here potentially, or taking it out here thinking, oh damn, I don't want to lose my full stop. This looks like it's going to get stopped out. I'm just going to take it out and lose a little bit less money, right? Who here has that happened to? Probably quite a few of you. And then you look on the charts, let's say, forget about this 4 hour here. Look at the charts here and you think, God, why did I take that trade out? I was right in the first place. I was right all along. So this is looking okay now. Obviously, this 4 hour bar is not great. It's basically back at my entry. Certainly not a nice 4 hour bar at all. However, if this does go on and hit TP, it'll just, when you do these things, and if you do struggle with tinkering your trades and making emotional decisions, just doing it a few times and just letting it run can give you a massive amount of confidence in what you're doing trading wise. Because, you know, let's say you do struggle with this kind of thing here, where you're taking your losses too early, or you're not fully accepting your risk. You just do it once, you just do it twice, you may see such a big difference in your trading. Because at the end of the day, if you read Mark Douglas's book, Trading in the Zone, fully accepting that risk. Your stop is here for a reason, right? Your stop is there because if it does hit the stop, the trade is wrong. The trade is not wrong here. It's still not wrong even here because it's not hit your stop. So whatever happens now, I think it's a good lesson on trading and the power of patience and just letting things play out. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with CAD Swiss. USD Swiss. Now, USD Swiss is another good example of, I didn't get into this trade, by the way. I don't take breakouts on the 30-minute, but here's another good example of the context I like and kind of how good it works. So if you don't know, I am a bottom-up trader, which means when I scan through the charts in the morning, I look through the setup first, and then I get my higher time frame confluence. So in this USD Swiss, the setup there was this V reversal and this kind of squeeze into the area. Okay, kind of wedging structure, V reversal into that area. So I looked at that and I thought, this is great. I like this. You got your ABC corrective after that V reversal. Where's the V reversal come? Probably on those stop locations, right? That's one of the reasons why I like this V reversal. So squeeze into the area. We've also got pull back to around that 200. And we've got 2 or 3 bars here just prior to that level. And notice on this, this area here, we've got lowering volume on the kind of accumulation phase before the break of that area. So that's also good to see. That's what I like to see, an increasing volume on that break. Now, so I looked at that and I liked it. Okay, so I looked at this. This is prior, this is before London Open, so this hadn't happened yet. Over to a 4-hour. So I need my higher time frame confluence. And you can see on this 4-hour chart a slight head and shoulders. So again, as a part of confluence with that 200 kind of curling up, price action above that 200, looking to be breaking above that 20. If we had a breakout that level at that time in a retest, we'd be above that 20 period on the 4-hour. So adding that confluence on that 4-hour was good. Simple head and shoulders. Daily chart. Got nice context here on the daily chart. V-reversal, volatility contraction, rejection of that 20. Can you see that? Rejection of that 20. So this was actually looking good for a breakout trade on the daily. However, it's kind of broken out now. But just see how powerful the setup is and how it moves when it really does move. That was a result of that setup there. Now, again, I can't take the breakouts, but if this was a 4-hour chart, let's say, then I would have taken a breakout on this pair. But very powerful setup using that higher time frame confluence. So with this USD Swiss, what I'm looking for now is a breakout retest. So I've got the context there. This is good. Cut with handle, push on, looking for a retest of this area to continue to the upside. Going with that trend, yeah, I like USD Swiss. USD Swiss longs. Pound Aussie. Pound Aussie now is another one that I do like. On this 30-minute, 1-hour chart, we've got our V reversal here. A little bit of fakes out happening. You can see this, but we've essentially got our ABC corrective and we've broken through. So Pound Aussie is a difficult pair to trade. There's no doubt about it. But I'm essentially looking for a retest of this area now to move to the upside. So Pound Aussie potential longs. Again, we look for our higher time frame confluence. We're on an uptrend. But look what we've got on this 4-hour chart, where that setup is. So we've retested this area. We've pushed on back to that simple 20. Pushed on. Now we've got our A, B, C here. Engulfing bar on C wave, on that 20, on that 200. That looks nice, right? So again, as a higher time frame confluence, this for me looks good. We're going with that trend. The power of a simple 20 period, right? Price usually likes to correct to it. Look, when it's correcting around that 20 period, right? So Pound Aussie, I do like. Go back to the daily. We're going with that kind of larger trend. Not only that, we've had this move to the downside. However, we put our Fibonacci on it. It's breaking out of roughly that 61.8. And that 61.8 being the kind of line in the sand for trend continuation to the downside. Now, as I said, what I'm looking for here is a potential complex corrective or steady state retest back to that area, back on that 20. Give us a catalyst, possibly a hammer bar on high volume to take that to the upside. So Pound Aussie, I like. I do like that setup. Looks quite nice. China 50, the China A shares. This is on the daily chart. Going with the trend, we are on a downtrend and we have got our support zone here. Potential cut with handle pattern. My favorite context, as you guys probably know. Got our evening star here. Simple Dow theory. Lower highs. Coming into this trend. This looks quite nice. What I'm looking for now is I couldn't take this breakout just yet. As I said, the most important area of the breakout is just prior to a break. I would want to see, ideally, something like this, maybe another reload, bit of accumulation before you take that to the downside. So it's not ready yet. It's setting up quite nicely. Again, just digesting this decent move to the downside. So this is starting to look good. I just need a little bit more to take that to the downside on the China 50. The markets don't seem to be trending yet, or is it just me? Yeah, I mean, that comes with the SPX, Dawn. I think, normally if the SPX, I say normally, the whole summer hasn't been great in terms of trending market. We've had a few nice days. But yeah, I don't think you really find a lot of trending pairs during this point in times anyway. irrespective of the market conditions. So, I mean, this is why you're not seeing possibly that much follow through because of what's happening here. However, we know markets fall a lot quicker than they rise, right? And what we've seen, or what I've seen over summer, is as markets fall, the yen, the Swiss, the dollar gets pretty strong, right? Compared to the strength in those commodity currencies when the markets are rising, you know, because I still think there's some kind of uncertainty in this SPX because of that lack of follow through. We did get a little bit better up here, but yeah, I don't think you're gonna find many trending pairs during pullbacks or potential trend changes. We're not going to say that yet in the SPX. So yeah, I agree with you, Don. Basically, I agree with you. Hey, Rohan. Hey, Lebo. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Yeah. Okay, and finally, let me know if you guys want me to look at anything. I don't have many pairs today. My final pair is USD CAD. I like this trade, so I want to get this tomorrow. I'm looking at it here on this daily chart. We've got our V reversal and we've got our nice corrective. I did see this bar yesterday. If I zoom in here, I saw this bar yesterday, but I kept it on because, you know, I wanted to see what happened today, and we've got a decent bullish move in this US dollar. So now this looks good. So essentially what I'm saying here is if we get a close on this daily candle like this, I will take this breakout, stops underneath there. That would be my trade for tomorrow. I like where it is. We are going with that trend. I know price action is not very nice here, right? But it seems to be setting itself up. Remember, this is the daily chart. A lot of powerful candles in the daily chart. We're about that 20. Nice little channel, nice little contraction around that 20. A good bullish day today. And we would create our bullish 180, right? Or train tracks, whatever you want to call them. Essentially, it's a bearish bar followed by a bullish bar, basically around the same range. So your bullish 180 train tracks, it'll create that there. And for me, yeah, I would happily take that to the upside on this break of that level, stops there. On USD CAD, so could be a trade for tomorrow. What I think about pound CAD. Pound CAD. Let's have a look at pound CAD. Pound CAD, Denise, I was actually looking at pound CAD the other day for a potential break here. Didn't give me exactly what I wanted to see, right? So I was looking at here at this level for a potential break. It just failed and moved down. Now, what it could be is if you look at pound CAD, right? If you look at pound CAD, the price action, we've come from here. We've come from a decent move to the upside. I know oil's rising and that kind of helps the CAD. Yes, I know that. But, you know, we're breaking out of that structure. Maybe we need a decent corrective or decent pullback from this move. So we're kind of getting that now and some bullish pressure coming. Now, if we put, again, a simple fib on it, be interesting to see where that came from. Right, so that's interesting, right? From that move, we've now tagged that 50% level. So, and I know pound CAD likes this. I mean, a lot of pairs like this 50% level, but it's one of the characteristics of pound CAD is it does like a 50% retracement. So if you're looking at this, wanting to find more about pound CAD, put this a little note. If it does push up, that pound CAD respected that 50% level, build up that market characteristics on that knowledge of an individual pair. So, I mean, basically, Denise, if this closes like this on the 4-hour, it wouldn't look bad to me for upside movement, especially if the SPX does fall off a little bit, because that would support CAD weakness. But if this resets up for me, so if this resets up here as a potential V reversal, something like that, then that would look good for movement to the upside. But yeah, I would consider this 4-hour closure to be a rejection of that 50 and potential trend continuation from that move. So yeah, that's my personal bias. Daily looks all right as well. You know, this daily doesn't look too bad either. We're getting a decent hammer bar potentially on this close. Yeah, I mean, bias for me would be bias to me would be the upside, as long as that 4-hour closes quite nicely, essentially. USD Swiss. I did USD Swiss. Dig stub. Yeah, I did USD Swiss. I like it to the upside, basically. So USD Swiss, I'm looking for a retest of this area. Breakout retest. But this looks good. Yeah, I like that long. Certainly like that long. Probably my favorite out of the two. So that one, USD CAD, I like to the upside. If this daily closes like that, I'll take that break tomorrow. And Pound Aussie, I'm going to keep an eye on, to be honest. Pound Aussie, I'll keep an eye on for that breakout retest. But really, that for me is it today. You know, like I said, I'm just back at the charts yesterday, so I'm still getting to the swing of things. So I'm just reading through the comments here. Oh, sorry, that's something different. Okay, guys, I mean, that's unfortunately, that's it for me today. I don't have many setups else. Again, if you want me to look at anything, let me know now. If not, I will be back on Monday, where we'll do it all over again. All right, guys, take care. I appreciate you coming, and trade safe. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to today's stream. I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure to follow today's guest, by the way, on social media, and don't forget to subscribe to A1 Trading here on YouTube for more market coverage, trade ideas, and special guests. Our streams are made possible thanks to our sponsors, all of which can be found down below in the description. If you're looking for a new broker, consider checking out the links down below. We've partnered with a few brokers that we think you should check out. By signing up with one of these brokers, our company will receive a small affiliate commission, which does help us stay here on the air creating free stuff for you guys. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you back in the next one.